So the beginnings of my New Year video. So every year I have done a recap video and this year is no different. But I thought I'd just add a little bit at the beginning. Forgive me if you are a long-term watcher, but we've had quite a number of new fresh people start watching. So I thought I'd do a little recap of who we are, where we come from and what we do. So my name is Charlotte Ashley and this is our farm in the Eden Valley in Cumbria. So this year I can tell you for the first time ever that we farm nearly 200 acres, 200 cows and 200 sheep, give or take at each any given moment. But do you know what? We'll just keep it that round number. It makes it easy for everyone to remember. We have started milking Jersey cows. My other half is Roy. Roy is usually in the background and very silent, but occasionally he makes an appearance. If you could change anything, what would you change?
Should have 2 bays on the end.
Apart from that, that's pretty obvious. If someone was setting up a cow shed and they were going to be doing it, what would you advise them? What would you do differently?
I honestly don't know, because I don't think there's that many problems with it.
No.
At some point, I probably want some blinds.
Definitely some blinds, I think. But airflow wise,
Fantastic.
it's actually really good. So
Paul Ingham that we bought the cows off said you'll have more trouble with heat stress than you will with the cold.
he also said that the area behind the robots wasn't needed.
The area behind the robots is very much needed. That's why we're not struggling to train the heifers.
Well, I'd say we're not struggling. They're a pain in the ass, but yeah, we're not struggling. Yeah, that area behind the robots. If anyone was putting a shed up, definitely consider. I would advise people when they go and look at robots, don't go and look at the physical robots.
We know the big mistake we made was.
What?
We didn't order a Discovery Collector too to start with.
yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, when people go look at robots, I would advise them to look at everything else in the shed apart from the robots. Look at the way that the cattle are handled and things like that. This is why I don't speak, so he just speaks over you.
We were told before the cubicles even went in by Gary that his brother-in-law said you will not get the milk off cows by going through them with a scraper every day. It had to be...
I know, and I didn't listen to him either. I thought
at the time it didn't seem important. We didn't even have cows in the shed. But I think we've learned that lesson, and it's got to be a Discovery Collector or it's got to be rope scrapers, and we know which one's the right one for us.
Silage wise,
let's leave silage 2024 alone and look forward to 2025.
So our stewardship ends we've got a year left, haven't we?
1 year exactly.
1 year left. What are your thoughts on the stewardship going forwards? I know them. I've heard them several times.
We thought naively that stewardship was geared for the dairy farmer to grow a crop of grass for first cut. It isn't, because the ground's got to be left empty for 5 months. The grass is old and tired. This time, I don't think it's geared for anybody, isn't stewardship. This time next year,
ticking boxes, that's all it's
we'll
geared
be
for.
putting our sheep down on the land that's limited grazing, stripping it off for a month and starting to grow fresh grass.
Definitely. I have 2 children, Anna who is 12 and Rufus who is 8. We sell our milk to Graham's Dairies. Now that is in Stirling, up in Scotland, and it is our milk is on a specific Jersey contract. We moved here in 2016 with the long-term dream of milking Jersey cows. I'm just waiting for Rachel to come and AI this one, that's why I'm stood with her. So the obvious big change has been the cows and the shed and the robots. So on the 2nd of May, we turned the robots on and the cows arrived. We bought a whole herd of cows and they stepped off the wagon and, no joke, they literally walked into the shed and walked through the robots. The robots themselves have been super easy to get to grips with. When you actually have had a few problems and you've watched them fix them, you realise how simple of a machine they actually are. And we're really not seeing too much problems with them. The problems that we're seeing are probably self-inflicted and are more to do with the management of dairy cows than they are the physical aspects of robots. So people have said to me that these things are like finely tuned racehorses. In actual fact, I have found them more to be like naughty toddlers than anything. Honestly though, I have enjoyed the cows themselves so much. Honestly, look at this thing. They're just so funny. They are like naughty school children. And for me, apart from they butt you in the belly, stop it, that's really naughty and really rough, get off me. They're brilliant. I've absolutely love them. I've enjoyed every minute of having the actual cows. So the cows themselves are absolutely wonderful. I've enjoyed all of it. Calving has been interesting. So the cows arrived in calf to a beef short-horn bull, which definitely presented challenges. So we have ended up that we have used AI and an AI service for the first time, and we've got our own AI flask, which all of that is brand new to us, so that's been really interesting. The sheep are still with us. I'm just that busy working with the cows and videoing the cows that when I do work with the sheep, we're doing it that fast and furiously. I really haven't had time to show you them, but lambing was absolutely wonderful. We lost very little. We did really well. I'm literally, no joke, I'm being attacked by animals. Look at the state of this. Like, honestly, these things are the naughtiest animals you have ever come across. Speaking of bobcats, we got rid of the S250 Beast. This is the S160 that was smaller, that was at Roy's dad's house. Do I miss it? Yes, I will not lie. This bobcat, although it is nimble and fits into spaces that other machines cannot, it doesn't lift nearly as much, to be honest. It refuses on a pallet of shavings, and you have to be very careful when you are bucketing silage anywhere because it will tip over on you. The S160 has never refused. You could have unloaded wagons with it. You unload big bales of straw off wagons, and you never really had an issue, but it had the same lifting capacity as the Merlot. So the Merlot this year has definitely paid for itself. Well, to be perfectly honest, YouTube paid for the Merlot, which is absolutely brilliant. We never had to be farm assured because we never sold our stock as finished. We sold for the stores. So we've never had to put up with red tractors, to be perfectly honest. And then, yeah, when we got into dairy, it is a specification of your contract. So, yeah, we got into the red tractor scheme for beef, lamb, and for dairy. We have just finished the extensive refurb of the dry cow shed, which is absolutely brilliant. As you can see, there is nothing in it, and this is as it is. These are Jersey-specific cubicles from Mayo mattresses, so they call it Mayo Cow Comfort, and they're made by a company called Condon Engineering in Ireland, and they were the only company when we were doing the big shed that made specific cubicles for Jersey cows. So these are not full-size mattresses cut down, these are specific for a Jersey cow. So if you look behind me at this cubicle here, the outside of this cubicle basically match the inside of a Holstein cubicle. So if you measure a Holstein cubicle from inside to inside, that's the outside to outside of this, and that ends up being near enough about right for a Jersey. The actual cubicles themselves, they are obviously different. Mayo again, they are solid metal up until about here, and then they're plastic. So they're not 100% when you see other brands of cubicles that are really movable. These guys are not really movable, which is what we wanted because we know these cows were going to be naughty, and we knew that they would have to have a little bit of structure to hold them in. Yeah, really pleased with the ones we've got so far in there. They've not put a foot wrong. They've been absolutely brilliant. So obviously this is the new housing for the dry cows, and Roy's favourite cow will be the first one to walk into the building. For the first time ever, we took 3 cups of silage. Now, we've never done this before. In the past, when we've had beef cows, it was more and more. We wanted the grass as long as possible. We wanted just as much in there as possible. At no point in the past did we really consider the quality of the silage. It was more about the quantity. So little did we know that poor quality silage would cost us literally thousands of pounds. So this year, when we're making silage, we're definitely going to be going more for quality. We're going to get the fertiliser on in plenty of time. And we're going to get the fertiliser here in plenty of time, which was one of our issues last year. We're also going to start reseeding. We do reseed as a rule, but maybe we need to do a little bit more. But as with everybody, money is always an issue. Like, it might look impressive, but let me tell you, it has taken some hefty investment to get to where it is. And do you know what? It doesn't grow on trees. Roy's beloved ML actually gave up this year and went to the scrapyard. So if you're a long time watcher, you know we have had this a long time. This car was £1,200 and has lasted, how many years? It's been absolutely wonderful, but as with everything, it has to come to an end. As with social media, I have been offered some amazing opportunities to trial machinery, to go to places, and just generally experience things that otherwise I wouldn't get to do. So I have all of you to thank for this. We've had the Massey, we've had the Deutsch, we've had the bloody Grenadier, we've had the Solis. The Solis lives with us. It's not even ours. It's crazy. We have been to Lely Atlantic, as you can see, me and Ollie being naughty on the Lely Cow, and I had for a month the CF Moto U10 Pro, which I am still mourning the loss of, because that is my future vehicle. A huge, massive thank you to everybody for joining in on the food bank campaign that I do. You've blown me away this year. We had the addition of the fresh veg boxes that me and Rebecca Wilson took out across Cumbria. That was a massive success, and I think that will be something that we're concentrating on a little bit more this year. Maybe plan it a little bit sooner, a little bit earlier, and hopefully get a little bit bigger and more out. So help a lot more people, which is brilliant. Don't worry, I'll still be doing the usual food bank wish list, which you obviously all completely blew me away. You surpassed yourselves, you really have, and it just shows the generosity of everybody who watches YouTube. But most of all, thank you to you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting and all that jazz. But just thank you for being there, for most of all. It's been a tough year. It's been busy, very busy. Honestly, I can't even tell you how busy we've been. It's been crazy. And any questions I've had, I've asked and I've got answers. And I suppose that is absolutely wonderful. So the FeedStar system arrived. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It is what we needed. It takes feed from one end of the shed to the other. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say it was easy to install, and it definitely wasn't cheap. If they were cheaper, I would have 3. I would have them in every single shed we have, but as it stands, we definitely can't afford it. But you can see here, it works really well, and it does everything we need it to. So this year, I attended all of the shows. To be honest, Roy nearly attended all of the shows. And yeah, I'm so fortunate to have Roy stood next to me, who does push me to do more and go further and think bigger. Not many people have got their other half that wants them to succeed, which is absolutely brilliant. We went to Highland Show. Sorry, them cows are arguing and it's really noisy. So you what? We went to Highland Show, we went to the Smallland Show, Yorkshire Show. It was absolutely brilliant to be able to go and spend time with your friends and class it as work. So when you have social media, you kind of need to be seen out there. It's part and parcel of it. And also making money off social media. So a lot of the money I make, it doesn't come from YouTube, it comes from brand deals, affiliate links, that kind of thing. And in order to be able to do that, you need to be seen at events and agricultural events, and the best of them is the shows. So I'll be at Dairy Tech in a few weeks, which is absolutely brilliant. I'll be at Llama in a few weeks, and we start the whole cycle again. So I have got to do some pretty incredible things, but I also want to thank everybody who has supported me this year. So number 1, obviously, Ridgeline girl through and through. I have been on board with Ridgeline since the early days when nobody wore it. So yeah, thank you very, very, very much to Ridgeline. I would also like to say a massive thank you to Cramp. They are an agricultural parts supplier, and if you noticed, Lexi from Cramp donated all of the boxes when we took out the food and the vegetables, which was absolutely wonderful of her. So thank you to Cramp for being on board. Thank you so much to Farmers Guardian, who put me and Rebecca on the front page, no less. I have been to so many award ceremonies. Farmers Weekly, Farmers Guardian. I've been to London. I've been to the Northern Media Awards with Hills Green. I have been on numerous panel discussions and podcasts, and just generally been allowed to spread my wings and do what I love. The biggest thing of all is coming in 2025. What is to come? Well, I have a huge announcement in early 2025. Not quite ready yet, been in the planning for about a year, but it is a pretty massive step for me. So yeah, I can't wait to share that with you. I've been planning it for about a year, and then very recently I've persuaded somebody else to come on board with me, which is absolutely amazing, and I couldn't be more excited. Farm-wise, what's new in 2025? We've got 2 new things on the farm on the way. They're coming January. One of them's already here. I think half of you have guessed when that big box arrived, and I said, what's in this pallet? And then another one is coming early January. So yeah, I'll let you know when they arrive. Well, to be honest, you don't get a choice. I'm literally going to plaster it everywhere. So all that's left to say is Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Love you long time.
The storm that is brewing in your eyes. Even with the wrong directions, we can make it through the night.